and welcome to another edition of Between the Hashes. Where here, this is Between the Hashes, where football is a game of leverage, timing, and decisions made long before the ball is snapped. Most people react to what they see on Saturday and Sunday. Here, we talk about what shows up before that. This is Between the Hashes, where high school, college, and NFL football are broken down through film, fundamentals, and experience. I played the game, I studied it, and over time I developed a habit of seeing patterns early, schemes that are about to break, players on the verge of elite, and trends that haven't reached the mainstream yet. No hot takes, no screaming, just honest evaluation, real projection, and conversations grounded in football IQ. This is Between the Hashes. So, post this is Monday after the Super Bowl. Um, the game was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. Seattle going to dominate with their defense, and Sam Darnold was going to do just enough, um, make just enough throws um, to not put himself and his team in harm's way. No turnovers, and Sam Darnold balled out. He did what he was supposed to do, and again, I think New England was a uh, recipient of they were able to take advantage of the fact they had home field advantage. Teams had to go and play them in the snow, which played in their favor. But overall, yeah, I think if Bo Nix wouldn't have broke his foot, the Broncos would have beat him. And if CJ wouldn't have played like a bum, like a complete crackhead, then the Texans would have beat him. The Texans and the Seahawks were the best two teams in the NFL. Um, the defenses were elite. Like I said, they ranked first and second, really like 1A and 1B. Um, both of them were limiting teams to 17 points a game. I believe Seattle was 17.2 and the Texans was 17.4, something to that effect. Two elite defenses that can basically control the game from the defensive side. All the offense has to do is just not turn the ball over, which Sam Darnold understood and did not do, and CJ did. So that's everything in a nutshell. Um, do I like Sam Darnold? Yeah, I like Sam Darnold. I think he's given the time in the pocket. He can make every throw. Not only that, he's been able to limit his mistakes, um, especially over the last two seasons. You know, I don't know what was going on in Minnesota when they didn't retain him. They should have signed him to a long-term contract last year. They shouldn't let him go to Seattle. He shouldn't have been the quarterback for the Seahawks this year. He should have been a Viking. I'm not sure what's going on with the GM. GM, hey, Vikings, give me a call. I see y'all having administrative executive mistakes, big ones. Yeah, y'all need help. Um, Drake May on the other side. Um, I think he's going to be a good young quarterback, big fella. Um, Stands in the pocket tall, he's a throwback quarterback. Um, but yesterday, the Seahawks they rattled him and they messed up his timing in his head. Um, Once the timing in the quarterback's head is off, he starts throwing off rhythm, and that's what Drake May did. Excuse me, for the majority of the game. Once they got in his head and they started banging him up, and they messed up his timing, his throws were off pretty much for the rest of the game. Um, he had some opportunities, but like I said, they sped up his timing, and they were making him um, rush throws. They were banging him up early, and it messed up his timing in his head, and he was never able to settle back down and get in the groove. Um, I like Mike McDaniel's defense. I like his scheme. Um, Seahawks played a defense played a real good game, but still, I don't think they're as good as the Texas defense as far as if you go um, compare roster to roster, player for player, talent for talent. I don't think they're as talented as the Texans. It's very similar though, very similar. Um, yep. So also the running game for Seattle was significant. Um, I don't think he gets a lot of credit. Walker, he he's good. He can play too. Um, that took a lot of pressure off Sam Darnold. Um, yeah, next year, AFC, it's going to be different. A lot of quarterbacks coming back from injuries. It's going to be a different ball game next year. Patriots are going to have to be ready. I was surprised though, with all that experience on the coaching staff, that they couldn't make adjustments. But it is what it is. Drake May, 23 years old, young guy, talented. I like him. Um, Sam Darnold, 15, 28 years old. He'd be considered a journeyman, and he ended up winning the Super Bowl. That tells you in the NFL, you don't give up on quarterbacks after the first 2 or 3 years. A lot of times, it's the system, it's the coordinator. They'll leave and get with another coordinator or a system, and the young guy take off. So yeah, prime example. Sam Darnold was drafted in 2018. He went to the Jets, and for 3 years he was inconsistent. They let him go basically for little to nothing. He went to Carolina for 2 years, struggled there. Then he went to the 49ers as a backup in 2023. Then he went to Minnesota. This is when things get interesting. He figured it out, and he became a Pro Bowler, led him into the playoffs. For some reason, like I said earlier, they didn't retain him. So he ended up going to Seattle and taking them to the Super Bowl. That's his 15th. First time ever a quarterback wins a Super Bowl on his 15th. Yes, sir. So, yeah. So what was your outtake? How did you feel about the end result of the Super Bowl? Like I said, even Shanahan, when he was on live pregame, he said top two teams in the NFL were Houston and Seattle. That would have been a better Super Bowl in my opinion. So you let me know what's your opinion? How do you feel? Again, um, season's over with. Now it's time for off-season moves and draft picks, and try to see if we can make a run at it again between the hasses.